Nova Guest List Podcast
with Kieran McGuinness.
The very best in indie, alternative and homegrown music from the seriously addictive Radio Nova.
That was Fondness of You by Laura Duff, the most recent single from her brand new album Sea Legs, which came out on Friday night. Laura Duff is a fantastic artist from Limerick. We've been playing her stuff here for a while, and she's released this gorgeous kind of musically kind of breezy indie pop album, but kind of lyrically very kind of, I guess, intimate and beautiful and weighty, because there's a lot of serious themes on it. We're going to be chatting right now to Laura. How you doing, Laura?
I'm good, Kieran. How are you?
Good. So you played your big album launch gig last night, and you're feeling great today.
Feeling great. Yeah, energised. I'm not hoarse at all. We're all good. Ready for night two.
Yeah. Okay, well, last night, Friday night, you released your debut album, Sea Legs, which is a kind of I guess it's a meditation on grief and loss and stuff like that. How does it feel to have it out?
It feels like a relief, to be honest. But at the same time, it is feeling quite surreal, even though it has taken us a good long while to get to this point. But the launch was great last night, and it's just been lovely to hear people's responses to it. Yeah,
well, this is what I was going to ask you. So it's primarily about the passing of your father. And how has that reaction been to the album? Because it's very intimate, it's very direct, I think, in a lot of ways. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, you know, we've had the time to get used to like playing the songs, because I've kind of introduced them gradually throughout like different shows that we've been doing, just to kind of get used to performing them. And as a band, we've gotten used to that as well, and we've kind of had time to process them. But I guess a new thing with this album is actually people responding to it since we started releasing the singles and stuff. And I found that people like really connect with it. I suppose, like, no matter what the circumstances, people that have lost people close to them are really kind of connecting with it and kind of sharing that with me, which has been really emotional, but also that connection is just so beautiful in a way as well. And yeah, it's been really, really nice to chat to people about kind of their responses to it, for sure.
Yeah. Well, I was listening to the album, and, you know, a couple of tracks in, I felt quite emotional, you know, listening to it. It's very strong, you know, I mean, and I guess putting yourself out there like that is kind of difficult. I was really looking forward to hearing your album, because I love the stuff you've done before, which has this kind of a gorgeous kind of breezy kind of feel to it, like really kind of summery kind of feel. And when the first songs started coming in, you know, like Sea Legs and Fondness of You and stuff, I was like, oh, this is different, you know. And I wonder, did you have any apprehension about the art side of it?
I mean, I don't know, did I have any apprehension, but it is quite a shift, like, compared to the previous two EPs. But I guess it's kind of what felt most natural for me when I was in that kind of writing phase after my dad passed. It was just me, you know, writing on my guitar, and then this is just kind of how the songs came about, and the guys kind of shaped them as well around that. So kind of, yeah, very different to those previous two EPs for sure. But I think, you know, this album is kind of the closest to kind of what feels right, I suppose, in the terms of, you know, the sound that we're kind of finding. I think we've kind of found our sound with this album, I think. But yes, very different to the other two for sure.
Yeah. I mean, did you feel that it was a decision to write to the theme, or was it just that these were the songs that were coming out and there was no escaping it, sort of?
I think a bit of both, really. I was quite intentional about like writing songs dedicated to my dad, but I didn't intend on writing a full album when I kind of set out writing the tunes. I remember Mihal in the band, our guitarist, and he also produced and recorded the record. The file name was Laura Duff EP at the start. We were like, we have a few songs, we'll get these down, and then it just kind of grew legs. Yeah, the songs just kept coming, I guess, and ended up being an album. But it was a very gradual process. Like I never had like a bunch of 15 songs or whatever to kind of pick from. We kind of worked as the songs came about. So kind of in pockets of 2 or 3 songs, we'd get into the studio. So it was very gradual in that way.
Yeah. Well, look, over the course of the album, I really feel like you get to know like your home life, what your dad did, how he was, whether he was eating Muller fruit corners for breakfast, or he was wearing a scratchy old dressing gown, or, going to the pub in the evenings, or, his kind of taste in music and stuff like that. Really intimate. It's very melancholy. The sound is really beautiful, and it still has that kind of indie pop feel. But there's one thing in it that I think is really interesting, is there's a little detachment, like the narrator kind of, like it's kind of detached. That's a really there's a heaviness to that, I think. Do you know?
Yeah.
I mean, did you feel that you had to kind of write in that way, like you wanted it to be a sort of there was a little step back, because maybe, obviously it's a difficult thing for you, but is that how it kind of manifested? Yeah,
I think that definitely happened like across the album, or maybe just in a few songs. I guess, like, it's obviously autobiographical. I'm writing from my own experience, but I think sometimes when I'm writing songs, it's kind of like you're looking in at something from the outside, as if you're not kind of in it yourself. And I think sometimes I end up kind of inhabiting that kind of perspective, and just kind of, like I'm kind of just observing from the outside or something in a weird way. But I do think, as you said, it's quite literal. It's quite raw and naked, as you say. And I think a lot of the lyrics in there are quite literal as well. And I don't know, I was kind of, when you were asking about apprehension earlier, that is something I was kind of apprehensive about, just being kind of so literal about things and so open. But I decided just to kind of stay true to myself in that, I guess, and just kind of lean into it a bit and not try to kind of hide anything, I guess, or be too metaphorical about things or whatever it might be, Mm-hmm. It's just kind of what ended up feeling right, I guess.
Yeah, well, the music is gorgeous as well, and the band like have this, kind of really supportive, sitting behind you kind of feel, and it comes together really, really well. My wife, when we play gigs, my wife had a song about her best friend passing away, and it's funny, at the start it was very hard to sing, and over a little while it became a kind of a celebration of her, and she tells a little story before about her, how fun-loving she was, and how great that she feels to have her in her life. Is that where you're starting to get to by playing them live?
To be honest, I feel like I'm better at writing about like my dad's death and grief than I am actually talking about it, even like when I'm talking about songs or introducing songs or whatever it might be. So I guess I'll continue to kind of warm to that a bit more, and kind of continue to get used to it. But like I was saying earlier, like we started recording the album in 2022, so we've kind of played a number of shows since that. So even just to try, or to be able to get used to playing them live in front of people and singing those lyrics in front of people is something that I think I'm still kind of getting used to. But I haven't exactly got to the point where like I can talk about my dad at these shows, or kind of really kind of get into the songs. I've kind of just letting the songs do the talking for the moment. But I definitely have moments to myself where, and I love the images that you picked out about Muller Corner and the scratchy dressing gown and stuff. And there's there too, and there's some others in there as well that kind of amuse me as I'm singing them, and I have my own kind of moments. So there are some images in there that kind of make me laugh. I guess I'll kind of continue to try and kind of get used to maybe speaking a little bit more about him as a person, but I'm glad that you can get a sense of him from the songs themselves as well.
Well, look, it's a glorious album. It's really beautiful. It's like an immersive kind of thing, and I think that people who do immerse themselves in it will get a lot out of it. The gig in Dublin is in June 12th in Anshaw, and I think that'll be a great show to go and see. So go along and see the album Sea Legs by Laura Duff then. So Laura, I suppose just to finish off before we play the song Sea Legs, I know you don't like talking about the maybe you're not so comfortable talking about, but would you tell us a little bit just to set the song up, the title track on the album?
Yeah, of course. So I think this kind of encapsulates the album as a whole. As you say, it's the title track, and I guess the sea and fishing and just kind of the landscape of like coastal areas is kind of a through line for this album, and that's kind of informed by West Clare, my time spent there, time I spent there with my family, and also my dad's love of the coast and love of fishing as well. So this is Sea Legs. Thanks so much, Kieran.
Yeah, thanks so much for chatting to us, Laura, and hopefully see you at a gig soon.
Thanks so much for all the support. Thank you.
Yeah, let's play it. This is Sea Legs from the album with the same name, the new album by Laura Duff. It's Radio Nova.
The Nova Guest List Podcast with Kieran McGuinness. The very best in indie, alternative and homegrown music from the seriously addictive Radio Nova.